Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another of my live videos. And today I'm currently going to be doing my preview for the Manchester City versus Manchester United game. So the big question is, can Manchester United stop the informed Manchester City? It's Sunday, 4:30 kickoff. You can stream it on Sky Sports, and it will be televised by Sky as well. This is a big, massive game. You know, Manchester United have recently been in fantastic form. Manchester City have been scoring goals for fun, as we all know. You know, they won 6-0 yesterday against Shakhtar Donetsk. Manchester United won 2-1. And, you know, defensively, City are absolutely fantastic. And, you know, especially this season, you know, in the Premier League, they've won 9 out of 11 games. You know, they've scored 33 goals in the Premier League and only leaked 4 goals. So defensively, they are absolutely fantastic. So it could be hard, you know, for Manchester United to break them down. You know, defensively, Manchester United have still got problems. Jose Mourinho's looking for a defender and an attacker in the January transfer window as well. But going into this game, you know, Manchester United, you know, will be fairly confident, you know, going into the game after a fantastic result in Turin last night. Very good result indeed. This season of Premier League, I think Manchester United have only, I think we've won, Burnley. We won at Watford, Burnley, but I think we've only won 3 away games this season. So as away record in the Premier League this season so far isn't very good. We're 7 points from top. I think we're 4 points from the top 4 as well. So it is a must-win game for Manchester United. You know, basically we did win at Manchester City last season by 3 goals to 2. It basically didn't matter because City, you know, we're way ahead in the league table. But going into the game, just to give you a bit of team news, that good news is for Manchester United that Kevin De Bruyne is out. I think he's out until mid-December. You know, he suffered an injury in their encounter game against Fulham. So that's good news. But City, you know, still proving that they can perform without him. You know, they're still banning goals in for fun. You know, they have got quality players. You know, Pep Guardiola's got a fantastic philosophy, you know, a fantastic pedigree he had with Barcelona and Bayern Munich. You know, he won lots and lots of honours, and, you know, he's emulated the football from there, you know, to Manchester City now. You know, he has spent about £1 billion in all his managerial career. More than half of that has been spent at Manchester City. And, you know, I think they've spent the most money, you know, in out of the Europeans of Manchester City as well. They've got class players like, you know, Leroy Sané, you know, they've got Aguero, they've got De Bruyne, and, you know, they can prove they can play without De Bruyne. So imagine if De Bruyne, you know, was back in that team now, you know, how City would be playing. You know, they're still playing fantastic, you know, without him. For me, Kevin De Bruyne is a fantastic team player. He works hard for the team when he's playing. You know, they've got players like Aguero, Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus of Manchester City, Fernandinho. You know, they've got an absolutely world-class side, you know, with top players, but we know a lot of money's being invested into that team. They've won 3 Premier League titles now of Manchester City, so this season they're looking to secure the 4th league title as well. But going into the game, Manchester United, I think, you know, Fellaini's just come back from injury, as I said. I think you said Doyle still injured with a knock injury, and Antonio Valencia has been out for a while. He's had a mouth injury as well as Antonio Valencia. But yeah, it's going to be a big, massive game. Can Manchester United stop Manchester City? They're undefeated so far this season. There's Liverpool undefeated in the league. Chelsea undefeated in the league. For me, it's going to be a really tough game, you know, considering the form Manchester City are in. The scoring goals for fun, as I said, but it was a good result in Turin last night for Man United. You know, we basically, as I said, for the majority of the game, you know, we wasn't in the game. As I said, you know, Juventus had chances through Cuadrado, Juventus had chances through Ronaldo, Dybala. You know, Juventus are a very good side. You know, they hit the woodwork twice as well. You know, obviously Ronaldo's, you know, you can't argue about Ronaldo's goal. It was an absolutely fantastic goal. His first goal in the Champions League, you know, since he's come to Juventus, and it did have to be against his former club. He did celebrate. I'm not surprised by this, but maybe if it had been at Old Trafford, he'd have scored. Then I doubt, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, would have celebrated, you know, because he had 6 great years with Manchester United. He had nearly 10 good years, you know, with Real Madrid as well. Did Cristiano Ronaldo. But overall, you know, it was good to see. I give, you know, Jose Mourinho a lot of credit because, you know, he basically changed that game around with his tactically changed that game around. He brought 3 substitutions on. You know, Mata's free kick, a piece of brilliance. You know, it was a fantastic free kick, to be fair. The second goal was lucky. We scored from 2 set pieces. You know, the second goal was lucky, to be quite fair. It was another set piece from Ashley Young coming to the box, and I think it was Alex Sandro scored the goal. But Juventus seldom lose at their on their turf. They're seldom losing. You know, they hardly ever lose out. It tells you on the statistics. As I said on my other videos, you know, that were their first defeat. You know, to an English opposition in the Champions League group stages at home for 15 years. That was their first defeat to an English opposition 15 years at home in the Champions League group stage. It was their first defeat all in all. Juventus is in the group stage at home since 2009, and they lost to Bayern Munich in 2009 in the group stages at home. So you can see how much of a fortress Juventus Stadium is, you know, especially in Europe. You know, they're one of the best European sides, you know, with world class, you know, with top class players in that team. And, you know, basically, you know, Manchester United have won more away games against Juventus. Man United have won more away games against Juventus more than any other team in the whole competition of the Champions League. So that's another statistic to remind you on. And last night, you know, was just like 99. It gave me a glimpse of 1999, you know, when we scored twice in stoppage time, you know, and won the treble. That was through Teddy Sheringham and Ole Solskjaer. But we haven't come, it says we haven't, till last night, we haven't come from behind and won a game. Scored twice and won a game and come from behind within the last final 5 minutes of a game. So that is a great achievement in my opinion. You know, still some Manchester United fans, you know, it's going to give us confidence going into the game now. You know, we've had the comebacks lately. You know, we've come back against Bournemouth, you know, was 1-0 down, come back against Juventus yesterday, come back against Newcastle as well. So we're getting glimpses of the third days with these late goals and these fantastic comebacks, you know, like we did under Alex Ferguson. You know, there were loads of games under Alex Ferguson, you know, we came back, you know, I remember years ago we were 3-0 down to Tottenham at half-time and come back to win 5-3. You know, 2-0 down at Tottenham, I think, back in 2008-9. You know, when we had players like Berbatov, Tevez, obviously Ronaldo were in the team as well, Nani, Rooney and all that. You know, we're 2-0 down at half-time. We had Berbatov there as well. And, you know, we come back to win 5-2 in the second half. But over years, you know, Manchester United have made dramatic comebacks in games. And, you know, we're doing this at the moment. I give Jose Mourinho a lot of credit, you know, for changing the game around. And I thought he performed well in Turin. I thought Herrera played well. You know, he got named in the starting 11. I thought, to be fair, I thought Jose Mourinho, you know, should have started Juan Mata. He brought him on as a substitution, but I thought he should have started him. I think he plays better than that number 10. I thought Matic didn't have a bad game. I thought Matic, I think he hasn't been to his potential lately, but I thought yesterday he played all right. I thought Ashley Young had a decent game as well at the right back position. I think, as I said, I think Ashley Young's mainly a right winger. Because, you know, he plays in the right wing for England. He played in the right wing, you know, in his Aston Villa days as well. Ashley Young has been at the club now a long time. But overall, the performance was up to scratch because the majority of the game, Manchester United were not in the game because Juventus just currently pressed us. You know, we was pegged back in his own half a lot of times. But you'd expect that going to, you know, their stadium because basically it's a fortress, as I said, you know, especially, you know, in the Champions League. Right there. But yes, now Jose Mourinho basically said in his press conference that, you know, he's proud of the team. He's very, very proud. He's very, very proud. He said, you know, Juventus are a top team, you know, with experienced players. He said, you know, he put their current record at home into the equation as well in his press conference. I think at the end of the game, his celebration was a bit daft. He took that celebration too far. He was basically rubbing the salt in the rooms, wasn't he? Was Jose Mourinho. But Ronaldo basically said they shouldn't have lost Juventus. You know, he said basically Man United did nothing to win that game yesterday. No, we didn't. But until I think, you know, the last final 5 minutes when Jose Mourinho changed it around, you know, all of a sudden Manchester United woke up and got 2 goals and, you know, won us the game. And now we're 1 game away from getting that from getting that knockout to getting into the Champions League knockout stages. So it looks like, you know, we are going to qualify because I presume that Manchester United will beat Young Boys, and then we've got Valencia after Young Boys as well. And Juventus is, especially this season, Juventus's record in the Champions League has been phenomenal so far. Before the yesterday, the record had been phenomenal. 3 wins out of 3. They kept clean sheets and all of them until yesterday. But me, I wasn't that confident going into yesterday. The way we have been winning games. We have, been in better form. But in terms of the performances, which haven't been fully up to scratch, I thought we'd have maybe most got a draw out of that Juventus game. But it's good that we got the win, as I said. But yeah, going into Sunday's game, it's going to be a very, very difficult encounter. Manchester City have got a hell of a lot of good players. Both managers got a good pedigree. Pep Guardiola's got a good pedigree. Jose Mourinho's got a good pedigree. He has won 3 trophies since he's come to the club. We're not in that commanding position as we should be, but we can turn it around now, hopefully. Yes. Yeah. We can turn it around now, hopefully, and I really, really hope we do. I think Romelu Lukaku's currently got a muscle injury as well, so he's missed the last 3 games for Man United. He hasn't been in great form this season, compared to last season. As Romelu Lukaku, will he be fit enough to start the Manchester derby? For me, do you think we actually look potentially better without Romelu Lukaku? Because we know Martial and Rashford have been full in this spot. Sanchez had full this spot yesterday because obviously Jose Mourinho put Sanchez in a central position. He usually operates on the left, in that number 7 role, does Alexis Sanchez. For me, I think he will be, my opinion, he hasn't really made an impact since he's come to Old Trafford as Sanchez. To me, in my opinion, I think he will be sold in January. PSG are interested in the player like there was last year. We've only had Sanchez since January. He was involved in this deal with Mkhitaryan. Arsene Wenger, basically, I thought it was very, very good under Arsene Wenger was Alexis Sanchez. He was good in his Barcelona days as well, and he was good with underneath. But he's only scored 4 goals since he's come to United. He has got a couple of assists as well, but for me, I just don't think he suits the Manchester United era, especially this moment in time. But sometimes it does take time for the players to settle in. We know he's currently the highest paid player in the Premier League on £500,000 a week. But yeah, basically we know. I think Jose Mourinho potentially is going to definitely start Martial in the Manchester derby. He's been in absolutely phenomenal form as Anthony Martial, playing really, really well, and he will grow and develop. Reportedly, it's just said in the press, due to his fantastic performances lately, Martial, that he has been recalled back into the France squad based on his fantastic performances. So he's been recalled back into the France squad. Currently France were the World Cup winners. Currently missed the World Cup during the summer, Martial, but he's made 18 appearances for France. He missed the World Cup during the summer, but he has been recalled now back into the France team as Anthony Martial based on his fantastic performances in the last 5-6 games and this season, to be quite fair. Reportedly, it said in the press the other day, today, that as he updated you, that reportedly he hasn't signed this new contract yet. We have the option to extend his contract by a further year. His agent's been in discussions about potentially signing a new contract at the club. Reportedly, it said in the press earlier on that reportedly Manchester United are prepared to offer Martial a £45 million a year deal, and added on to that plus a 5-year contract as well. So I presume that Martial, will accept this. I think he wants to stay at Old Trafford. We know there were rumours, during last summer that he was leaving, and Tottenham, Chelsea, were interested in getting the player. But for me, Jose Mourinho wants basically Martial, to stay at Old Trafford. We know Mourinho's had disputes with him in the past. We know Mourinho's had disputes with Paul Pogba. He's had disputes with quite a few of the top players as Jose Mourinho. That would be good to see if Martial does sign this, accepts his £45 million a year deal and this 5-year contract as well. And if this does process, he will be one of the highest paid players, Will Martial, and that's a lot, for a youngster at that age. I think he's 21 now. I think think he's 20 or 21 now. He's Anthony Martial. But for me, I think Jose Mourinho, he's still playing players slightly out of position. As I said, I think Mata on the right, he's good on the right, but I think he's better in a number 10 position. For me, for me, I think he does play quite a few players out of position. For me, I think that left back needs addressing, especially in my opinion. But for me, this is going to be a huge game on Sunday. But we know quite a few weeks ago, Mourinho under a lot of pressure. Before the Newcastle game, it said regardless of the result, Mourinho was gonna get the sack. Considering the history of this club, considering the expectations, the expectation levels, considering Mourinho's history, by now you'd expect Manchester United to have another Premier League title, added into our trophy cabinet. But obviously, it just hasn't happened because we've all talked that a lot of the players are playing for Jose Mourinho, and he has had disputes with the players, some of the players, as Jose Mourinho. But there is time to turn things around. As I said, I still think that right hand side needs addressing, as I keep saying, because teams are exploiting it far too easily. But he's been under pressure, Mourinho, due to the results this season. We lost to teams that we shouldn't lose to. These teams we lost to that we wouldn't lose under the Alex Ferguson era. We lost to teams we lost to teams that we shouldn't lost to under Moyes. We lost to teams. What? All right. We lost to teams under Van Gaal, that we basically shouldn't have lost to as well. And reportedly he's going to get £100 million spending spree in January as Jose Mourinho. But yeah, so Manchester City, Man United, always a fantastic game. When the Manchester derby comes, there's been great games between Manchester City and Manchester United. Over the years, you saw, especially under the Fergie era, there's been great games. You saw the 4-3 at Old Trafford, Michael Owen scoring the winner. You saw the 1-0 when Paul Scholes scored late on. That was absolutely brilliant as well. We saw City beat Manchester United 6-1. When they had Mancini. There's been a hell of a lot of great games between Manchester City. Manchester United beat them 3-2 last season. Was 2-0 down, so that was a fantastic comeback as well. But there was great games between City and United. Over the years, especially under the Fergie era. I remember the 3-1 game in the Carling Cup as well, when Rooney had scored that header late on. We'd lost 2-1 in the first leg, but that's when City had players like Bellamy. They had Tevez then in that team. They had a lot of different players that back then, to what they have got now. Because obviously Pep Guardiola's, spent a lot of money in that Manchester City team, and now, to be fair, they have got a top quality team as well. But obviously, Manchester United were better than, under the Fergie era with all the success, and we used to have a fantastic record against Manchester City back in the Alex Ferguson era. We used to beat them a lot. We didn't lose that much to Manchester City. Under the Alex Ferguson era. Especially because obviously we were more competitive there than we are now at this moment in time. As I said, going into this game, it's going to be an amazing game of football for me. I think this could be a draw, or City will just slightly win the game. I don't think we'll get beat heavily, because obviously we know City lately. They won 6-0 yesterday against Shakhtar Donetsk. They beat Southampton last weekend by 6-1. So they are banning goals in for fun, and they're hardly leaking any goals. And their defence is absolutely phenomenal. They've got company there. They've got the likes of John Stones there. They've got Otamendi. Got a fantastic defence. They've got a fantastic attack. They've got a fantastic midfield. Especially when De Bruyne is there fully fit. So them players can, that's what worries me. The class that City have got in their team. That it can cause the Manchester United defence problems, because we've only kept one clean sheet in the Premier League so far this season. But yeah, there's good news is that City have got De Bruyne out 6 weeks. Also, Claudio Bravo's out for City until February next year. Until February next year. So there's a bit of statistics going into here. Manchester City have won just 2 of their last 8 matches against Manchester United in all competitions. Since winning 4 in a row between 2013 and 2014, Manchester United, who won 3-2 at the end last season, despite being 2-0 down, are looking to win back-to-back Premier League games at at the stadium for just the second time. Also doing so with wins in November 2008 and April 2010. Two of Man United's 3 Premier League wins against Manchester City when they're trailed in the match have been away from home and from 2-0 behind. In November 93 and April 2018, Premier League meetings between City and United have been won by away side on 17 occasions. Only Aston Villa versus Liverpool and Everton versus Man United have been won by the visiting team more. There have just been 3 occasions of a team scoring 24 plus goals after 6 home games in the Premier League season, with Manchester City responsible for all 3. 2017-18 and 2018-19, Manchester United have conceded 18 goals in their 11 Premier League games this season. It took them 25 games until the 31st of January to concede as many in the competition last season. Manchester City haven't lost any of their last 53 Premier League games against sides that starting the day outside the top 4. Scoring against Manchester United in the Premier League, attempting 19 shots in 12 games without success. Among players with at least 50 Premier League goals, only Robbie Keane has played more times against the Red Devils without scoring than Sterling. Manchester City's Sergio Aguero scored 17 goals and assisted a further 5 in his last 13 Premier League games at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City's Sergio Aguero scored 7 goals in his first 7 games against Man United, but has failed to score in his last 3 games against them since. Antonio Martial scored in each of his last 4 Premier League games for Man United. He could become the 7th different player to score in 5 or more in a row for the club in the competition. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Wayne Rooney, Cantona, York, Ronaldo and Robin van Persie. This will be the 22nd meeting between Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola and Manchester United. This will be the 22nd meeting between Man City boss Pep Guardiola and Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho in all competitions. The Spaniard has won 9. The Spaniard has won 9 and lost 5. Drawn 7 of the previous 2. He's only lost more matches against Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp 7, then Mourinho 5. During his managerial career, Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola has never lost consecutive home league games against a single opponent in his whole managerial career. That's it. So there's some match statistics to update you on as well. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting game. We know basically Manchester United have still got, as I keep updating, you've still got a few players coming to the end of deals. As I mentioned about Martial, reportedly he's going to be demanding a high salary. He's going to be reportedly getting offered 45 million a year plus a 5-year deal. Reportedly hasn't been agreed yet, but this is what it says in the press. Got obviously David De Gea coming to an end of his deal. Potentially, the best goalkeeper in the world. Very, very good with Atletico Madrid. He's been at Old Trafford since like 2011. We paid a record fee for him for about, was it 18 million pound or something like that. Mourinho said a couple of weeks ago he wasn't confident he'd sign his extension. David De Gea hasn't took much notice of it yet, but I presume that he will. I think David De Gea, will stay at the club, as I said, because he's just been an absolutely phenomenal goalkeeper. But I think he will sign this extension. Phil Jones got the option to extend his contract by 12 months as well. You've got Eric Bailly, another player, coming to the end of his deal, hasn't played much this season. It said in the press the other day that AC Milan, were linked with a player. Says AC Milan were linked to the player. He's coming to an end of his deal. He hasn't featured much this season. I think he's only made 7 appearances for United this season. He's only scored 1 goal, in the Premier League, since he's come to the club. We paid £30 million for him from Villarreal. He's had injury problems, United, especially this season as well. He hasn't featured that much this season, to be quite fair, as Eric Bailly. But recently, Jose Mourinho's, been putting Lindelof and Smalling, in that centre-back position, as we all know. But yeah, as I keep saying, guys, there's been talks about Mourinho, a couple of weeks or so ago that, Florentino Perez wanted him back at Real Madrid. He won stuff for Real Madrid. There were talks about Conte potentially coming in to replace Mourinho if Mourinho was sacked. But I wouldn't really want Conte. I think his pedigree's okay. He won the title with Chelsea and FA Cup. He played for Juventus as a player. He also managed Juventus and he won honours with them, did Conte as well. I wouldn't want Conte. I think maybe just give Jose Mourinho a bit more time because he has got a good history. And now, based on the recent, results, I'd definitely say don't sack him now at this moment in time because we are on a good run of form at the moment. I know we had a very very bad start, to the season, and I think since the Newcastle game, Manchester United, have dramatically turned it around. We was unlucky, not to win the Chelsea game. As I said, for me in the Manchester derby, I think Lukaku's obviously had a muscle injury. I don't know if he's still got. I don't think Mourinho will select Lukaku. I'm not sure because I think we're looking better without Lukaku. To be fair, at the moment. But to be quite fair, I thought in the Juventus game, when Fellaini came on, I thought he actually made an impact. To be quite fair, did Marion Fellaini. I'm surprised he didn't start Juan Mata, Jose Mourinho. I hope he starts Mata, against Manchester City on Sunday. I really, really do hope that Jose Mourinho, does start Juan Mata. But yeah, we're not in as much of a commanding position, as we should be. We're not in a commanding position, compared to the likes of City and Chelsea, and Liverpool and all that. We are comparison to them at the moment because obviously Liverpool spent a lot of money on Jurgen Klopp. They've spent just under £400 million. He's addressed the problems as Jurgen Klopp, especially defensively. Defensive this season, they're pretty good in the Premier League. We know they have lost a few games, in like the Champions League and all that of Liverpool, and they lost to Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. But I think in the Premier League, they are doing phenomenal. Our Liverpool Football Club. Klopp had a good pedigree at Borussia Dortmund. And I think with Chelsea, then what's his? I can't remember the manager's name, but he looks to be a good manager with Chelsea as well. Chelsea spent 120 around 122 million pound in the last summer window as well, and they've got class players like Morata. They've got Eden Hazard for me, an absolutely phenomenal player. His work rate's absolutely unbelievable. His finishing's fantastic. They've got Morata, they've got Hazard, they've got Willian, they've got David Luiz in that team. They've, Chelsea have got a lot of class players in their squad. I think Martial, is definitely coming, becoming comparable to Eden Hazard. I know Eden Hazard's older than Martial, but I think Martial will end up, when he grows and develops more. He's fantastic now, but when he grows and develops more, I think he will turn into the new Hazard. In my opinion. But yeah, I say give Jose Mourinho a bit more time. Is top four good enough, for the end of the season? He's confident we'll get the top four. Mourinho, is it good enough for the end of the season? No, not in my opinion, considering the amount of money we've spent. But I know we're not going to win the league. I don't think we're going to win the league. Potentially don't rule us out. Strange things have happened. As I said, we've been points behind in the past, but obviously that was under the Fergie day. Back in 2003 was 8 points behind, caught Arsenal. Newcastle was once 12 points behind them when we caught them and won the league. So basically, stranger things have happened. So hopefully, Jose Mourinho's getting it together now. I think I do admit he's arrogant. He's Jose Mourinho, but quite a majority of the players haven't been playing for him, especially this season. Due to that, he's had a dispute. As I said, with quite a few of the players as well. We know since the success under Fergie, nearly 3 years of success, it hasn't been the same. I think Jose Mourinho's style, at Manchester United, especially style of play, and needs to improve as well, because at the moment, as football's still crap. Let's be honest. But to be considering in terms of results, we have been getting the results that we want lately. But I think Manchester United have to step the performances up. If we are going to be competitive, whether it be this season, if we carry on this run of form, or next season as well. And hopefully Mourinho can get a few players in he wants in the summer. We know he has missed out on a lot of potential targets. Defensively, he's been interested in Harry Maguire. He signed a long-term deal with Leicester. It's been interesting, Toby Alderweireld from Tottenham. He's also been linked with that Inter Milan centre-back who's been at Sampdoria in the past. He's been at Inter Milan since 2017. He won the Slovenia under-21, what's it now? The Slovenia under-21 award, the under-21 best player award for Slovenia. I can't remember his name. He's an Inter Milan centre-back. I think Inter Milan are preparing to have negotiations of renewing his contract. I haven't really watched him play, but reportedly I know Mourinho's been interested in him. There's also been talks about Matt Ryan, another goalkeeper. But I think it was a disappointing last summer window. You know, he missed out on a lot of potential targets. You know, Mourinho did get Fred in. He should be playing a bit more than he has been, especially Fred. You know, Doyle, who's currently injured at the moment, hasn't featured much at all. Doyle, and Lee Grant, you know, who Mourinho got from, I think, was it Stoke? I can't remember who got, was it Stoke we got him from, his second choice goalkeeper as well. So we missed out on a lot of players, you know. I'd have loved Griezmann at Old Trafford. As I said, Bale, for me, he's a really good player, you know, when he's on form. You know, he's Premier League proven with Tottenham and Southampton, and you know, and all that, and he's doing really well for Real Madrid. But we know that he's injury prone, and he's known for injuries. Is Gareth Bale, but he's highly experienced. You know, we know he's aging up. But for me, I still think we need we need an experienced left winger. Because for me, Sanchez, he's just not doing it at Manchester United, and I think potentially, you know, he will be sold in the January transfer window as well. But, you know, we still got a lot of good players in that team that could potentially maybe cause Manchester City problems, you know, with the pace of Martial, you know, with the fantastic pace of Marcus Rashford. I think them two are comparable as well. Rashford, who's been, you know, risen up the ranks since the age of 7 at Manchester United, I think Rashford can, you know, Rashford or Martial, good two young talents, you know, can maybe potentially, you know, when they're on full form, which Martial has definitely been on form, you know, it can cause the Manchester City defence problems. But defensively, Manchester City are absolutely solid because they've only conceded 4 goals this season in the Premier League. But I think, you know, the likes of Liverpool, City and Chelsea haven't even conceded half the goals we've conceded in the first 11 Premier League games. But it's going to be a fantastic game on Sunday. I am going to be going out to watch it. You know, the intensity grows each year, year after year after year. The intensity grows. Manchester City and Manchester United. What a big game! With two managers that have got 2 good pedigrees. Pep Guardiola's got Manchester City gelling. He's got them playing the football that he emulated from Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Jose Mourinho, fantastic pedigree. He got it right against Juventus. But Jose Mourinho definitely needs to improve his style of play. And I will even admit that as well. But anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider it, subscribe as always. Take care, God bless, guys, and I'll see you all again on my next video. Bye.